speaking my truth. This is an example that I have learned from the teachers. So the next time I or anyone else would be ready to insult, criticize, blame, be mean-spirited, or accuse someone of not caring about the people they serve, or calling people greedy or selfish in front of children, the public, on Facebook, or in the newspaper, that I or they should stop for a moment and think about the example that that would set. Regarding the negotiations, as a taxpayer, I believe I have the right to expect both sides to work together in good faith to achieve a contract that is fiscally responsible, but also fair compensation to the teachers so that we may retain and continue to recruit the excellent teachers that we have in our district. I'm not sure if we're entitled to know the final details of a contract, but if so, that would be the final details. However, as taxpayers, we are not entitled to all the details of the ongoing negotiation, the give and the take, the proposals and counter-proposals, the bargaining chips. These are all starting points that make up a negotiating process and is none of our business as taxpayers. A land on these as of yet unresolved details is damaging to the negotiating process, as well as causing people to take sides based on incomplete information and becomes hurtful to our community.
Your time is up, ma'am. Your time is up.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Kim Wojak. Kim Wojak.
Good evening, Board.
Please, we have another speaker. Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
My name is Kim Wojak, and I live in Langhorne, and I am a homemaker. I was conflicted whether to speak tonight, but now I feel compelled that my voice be heard. I volunteer my time every week in my son's first grade class. I have been volunteering for over a year now. It is something I love doing. I must say, I appreciate my son's teacher for all she does in the classroom. Over the last few months, I've grown to like her so much. Yesterday, however, I received some disappointing news that I was actually hurt by. My son's teacher sent a note home to me stating, and I quote, "With the ongoing contract situation, teachers have been directed not to have volunteers in the classrooms." When we speak of hurting the children, I can attest that it does. I had to explain to my 6-year-old that his teacher didn't need my help right now. I was the one to see the sadness on his little face. He asked me why I wouldn't be in his classroom repeatedly, and I found it difficult to explain in terms he'd understand. It is unacceptable for anyone to hurt my children. I don't blame his teacher.
Please, let her speak.
I don't blame his teacher whatsoever. I have seen how hard she works with the boys and girls. I have learned a great deal from her in the short time I have assisted her, and I only hope to be invited back into the classroom sometime soon. I have to say I blame the union for this.
Please. I'm sorry, ma'am, I cut you off, but you still have time if you wish to speak.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I ask both the union and the board to come together peacefully and negotiate a fair contract to benefit everyone. This has been going on far too long. Each side has to come to a compromise already. The situation is affecting my family, and that I cannot accept. Thank you very much.
Angie Manning.
Mrs. Burns, maybe we call 2 at a time because it's taken a long time from a walk down here, so we just, we get 2 and 1 can stand on the side.
Angie Manning and Michelle Fay.
Hi, my name is Angie Manning. I live in Langhorne, and I'm a New Jersey public school teacher. First, I want to apologize. Last week, I lost my temper, and I said some of my own personal business. But I want to reach out and say thank you to the people from both sides who came and patted me on the back and wished my family luck. Thank you very much for that. With that, equal pay with equal responsibility. The administrators put their job on the line when they say what they need to say. School board members have to deal with voters and re-election with things that they implement. As a teacher, I know that in my district, we don't have equal say. I do get input, but for us to have equal say, we have to put something on the line. So what I ask the teachers and the NFT, if you want equal say, what do you put on the line? Thank you.
My name is Michelle Fay. I live in Langhorne Gables. I work part-time, but I am a full-time mother. I'm here tonight to speak about the negative impact that the teachers and the union of our district are having on our children. I am a parent who volunteers. I have helped with writing workshops in the classroom. I've organized faculty and teacher appreciation luncheons, so I am by no means a teacher basher. The teachers say they are not harming our children through their actions of work to contract or striking, but I beg to differ, and from my personal family's experience, I can assure you all that they are wrong. Last year, my daughter was in 4th grade. I'm sorry if I get emotional. She is a very caring and loving child who tries harder than most do, because all she wants to do is to do well in school. She's also very aware that her reading, math, and spelling abilities are below those of her peers. She's just starting 4th grade. She walks into a classroom that is very cold, undecorated, and uninviting. Now, to many of you, it may not seem important to have children's artwork on the walls, but to my sensitive, struggling 9-year-old daughter, it made all the difference in the world. For 2 weeks, every day, she came home crying to me, telling me her teacher did not like her. After many discussions with her, I realized that my daughter took it personally, that her class did not feel welcoming to her. I tried to explain to her the reasoning behind it, but because she was only 9, she did not understand the concept of work to contract, nor should she have to. For 2 long weeks, my daughter disliked going to school. For 2 long weeks, I listened to her crying before and after school, and this could have been prevented if the teachers did not take hurtful actions against our children. I have a nephew who is an IU student. He is also a very caring child who is very aware that he struggles. A child that when in the summer most children are playing with friends, attending camps, and having fun, he attends classes just to try to retain some of the information he learned the year before. He is a child that needs constant reiteration and repetition. This recent walkout on our children by the teachers of this district has pushed him so far backwards, and that hurts. My son is a 10th grader in the high school who is an A student. He does very well in school, and he has even said to me himself that he is having a hard time remembering everything that was being taught prior to the strike. He, an A student, is struggling to get back on track. So just imagine how hard it is for those children who struggle every day. I blame each and every teacher in our district for the hurt they are causing to my children and the children throughout the district. I blame them all because they stand in solidarity. They are all accountable. To walk out on our children...
Please.
Let me finish.
Let him speak, please.
To walk out on our children and to abide by the work to contract just because you have the right to do so is wrong. The union says they have no other option, but hurting our children should never be an option.
Your time is
Thank
up,
you.
man. Thank you.
Joan Thomas. and Kathy Alford. Joan Thomas and Kathy Alford.
I was listening to the news last week, and Chester County is having a lot of problems with their public schools. Their teachers are working without pay, not like what our teachers are doing. One thing I don't understand is they are working without a contract. If they don't have a contract, then why are we obligated to pay them, to keep them? Why can't we fire them? I remember when Ronald Reagan was in office. The air traffickers, controllers wanted to go out on strike. He fired every single one of them. And I think that's what our board should do. There must be some legal way you can just get rid of them. I don't know what it is, but why should they work, and why should we pay them when they don't have a contract? I don't understand that. Now, Louise Boyd, she thinks that there's a lot of money around. So she thinks they should just raise the taxes. Now, my husband and I can afford to pay our taxes. We're very fortunate. But Louise and teachers, do you realize...
Please direct at the board, please.
Okay. Does Louise and the teachers realize how many people are paying their taxes with reverse mortgages? I'm just wondering, do they care? Does any teacher care that people do not have the money to have their taxes raised? Most of these teachers, I don't even think the teachers have to live in the district, do they? So they don't care if their taxes get raised, they don't pay them. What do they care? I'm just really very tired of what's going on. And board, I am so proud of you for saying, no, we don't have the money.
This is... You have her on the record? She has her on the record. Please, and for the record, that was Mrs. Thomas from Langhorne, and I believe she's retired. Correct? Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, ma'am. I apologize. Please.
Hi, my name is Kathy Alford, and I am currently renting in Yardley, PA. Like many of you, I have lived in the Neshaminy School District for 22 years. But I recently lost my home to a short sale. I have had 3 wonderful children who have graduated in the Neshaminy School District, and I want to say it was an amazing place to raise children. My children were blessed enough to have caring, amazing teachers, counselors, principals, and aides that help guide them, support them, encourage them, and even sometimes push them when they needed it. I will be forever indebted to the good people of Neshaminy. But I did not volunteer today to speak and tell my story. I wanted to speak today to ask, no, to urge the Neshaminy community to bring Neshaminy back to the wonderful community it has always been. I am a 2nd grade teacher at Walter Miller Elementary, and I love my job. And anyone who knows me, teacher or parent, knows that to be true. I want you to also know, as a parent, a teacher, and a community member at heart, I still have hope. I have hope for us. I hope that this community, this board, and all of us will start listening. This is not a good place to be right now. I hope that the community will start listening to all the things we are standing up for. Class size, a voice in our district, which I always give my voice, and the rights for some of your children, and yes, a fair contract for all. I did see hope recently on Friday, January 13th. Louise Boyd came to us and told us she had written a letter to the school board president, Richie Webb, requesting around-the-clock negotiations until an agreement could be met. And if, and only if, an agreement could not be met, she asked for binding arbitration.
Please, let her finish.
My hope quickly faded when I read the response from Mr. Webb. He was rejecting our offer for around-the-clock negotiations.
Please, let her finish.
And he rejected our offer of binding arbitration.
About 10 seconds.
A smart leader should know when there is no end in sight. Teachers want a new...
Your time is up, ma'am. Thank you.
Stacy Kirsch and Leah Barr.
Okay, please. Go ahead, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stacy Kirsch. I am a proud educator. I am also a taxpayer and a parent in this community. And surprise, surprise, I am not here to talk about contract negotiations. As a parent, when children have disagreements, it is our job to teach them how to work it out. We need to teach them how to state their side of the problem with respect. We need to teach them how to listen to the other side. We also need to teach them that it's okay not to agree. We must teach them that it's not okay to yell and scream and call each other names. When I'm watching these meetings replay on television or see NSB supporters being interviewed, I feel they have forgotten this simple lesson. The yelling and screaming of obscenities is an embarrassment to this community. This dispute will eventually be resolved, but the horrible picture that is being played out for the world to see will stay with our children a lot longer. What is this teaching our children? Is it teaching them that if we disagree, it's okay to yell obscenities and personal slurs? Is it teaching them that if we disagree, it is okay to bully one another? Is it teaching them that it's okay to degrade someone because they do not agree with you? We should be teaching our children that the best way to work out a conflict is to have a respectful conversation. As a community, we should be modeling expected behavior we want our children to emulate. As elected members representing the community, you, the school board, should be doing everything you can to bring an end to this dispute and allow our community to begin the process of healing. Thank you very much.
Leah Barr, Sue Snyder.
Hello, my name is Leah Barr. I live in Langhorne. I'm a teacher in the district, but more importantly tonight, I stand here as a taxpayer and concerned parent of 2 children in our Neshaminy schools. I urge you, the board, to put an end to the anger, chaos, and disrespect that is suffocating and dividing our once close community. As board members, you have an ethical responsibility and obligation to this community to help ensure that our school system maintains a safe and non-threatening atmosphere for students and staff. It is deeply disturbing that this does not seem to be a priority. After 4 years of remaining silent, with my hope being that you would do right by our children, I can stay silent no more. I ask that you reflect on the code of conduct for school board members in Pennsylvania and ask yourself if your actions throughout this contract dispute have adhered to this code. One item states that board members will lead with respect and take full responsibility for board activity and behavior. 4 years ago, when words such as greedy, selfish, out of touch with reality, and bullies were repeatedly used to describe the teachers that you represent, when you allowed public comment at board meetings to become personal and threatening, it makes me question how that could be considered a responsible way to govern. I find myself wondering how different the community atmosphere would be today if you had adhered to the code and not been so free with ugly adjectives in your media statements and blogs.
Please, let her finish.
I can appreciate that the community wants transparency in this negotiation process, but slinging words of insult has been totally irresponsible, disrespectful, and it seems to have manipulated the people of the community who have put their faith in you. I feel this was an abuse of your positions, and to what end? It's caused an unsavory reputation across the area, and the truth is it never had to be that way. I find it hard to believe that every board member agrees with these tactics and wants to continue this way. I ask that if any of you are ready to show common sense and some work ethic, to please have the rest of the board do the same for the sake of our community. If you continue on this destructive path, I feel that our Neshaminy district will no longer be a place that one can be proud of, and instead will remain a volatile, unstable, and harshly divided community. The word stakeholder appears several times in the Code of Conduct, stating that the board members must govern in the interest of all stakeholders. I would hope that my 18 years of service, my 16 years of residence, my $7,291 school tax bill, and my 2 children make me a stakeholder on all accounts. Yet based on your actions, you seem to be indifferent to the entire community's needs and consistently focus on a vocal group of taxpayers that have been incited to act out of anger and malice. This board's continued refusal
Please.
This board's continued refusal to meet and negotiate not only...
Your time is up, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Good evening. My name...
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I cut you off. I apologize.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Susan Schneider. I live in Levittown, and I am a Neshaminy taxpayer. For 19 years, I have been a teacher in the Neshaminy School District and a proud member of the Neshaminy Federation of Teachers. In the last few months, a common complaint from this board has been the supposed decline in the district's scores on the PSSA tests. I say supposed because you have yet to share the formula that you use to calculate this so-called decline, which you in turn say proves that we are not competent at our jobs as teachers. I'm curious how you determine such a decline, given the state does not have any such ranking. The state knows that the PSSA tests are not designed to create district-by-district rankings and were never intended for that purpose. When questioned by the NFT and the media on how you got your statistics, you publicly stated that you came up with your own formula and arrived at your very own conclusion. I'm amazed that you would use made-up rankings that could harm the reputation of our district and our students just to challenge the competency of your teaching staff. I can't help but wonder, how would you evaluate your competence as board members? A major expectation of board members is to negotiate contracts with its employees. It seems to me that 4 years to bargain should not be considered a success. No other Pennsylvania school district in recent memory has taken that long to reach a contract with its teachers. And yet, here we are. Another major component of your job is to guide the overall educational programs and policies of the district. It would seem that very little time is being spent on this, given the exorbitant amount of time being spent on contract negotiations with all of your unions. I'm sure you'd agree that a school is expected to support the community at large by producing an environment conducive to learning, therefore making the community a desirable location for families, raising property values, and by the current method of taxation, raising your revenue. However, you have taken every chance to demean the teachers here and the teaching profession. You have attempted to divide this community by creating hostility towards our profession. We are going to see the impact of this impasse on this community for years to come. You were elected because you were willing and able to take the time to become more educated on school board issues than the average citizen and make decisions based on what is best for all. Instead, you have abdicated your duties and decision-making process to a vocal minority. Based on these criteria, I would have to say that this board is failing miserably. We have presented a number of ways this board can resolve the impasse, but time and again you have said no. It has become abundantly clear to me that this isn't about affordability. What it's really about is union busting. taking away our rights as citizens to unionize and collectively bargain, and taking away our voice in the classroom and the educational process.
Your time is up, ma'am.
Donna Junod and Kyle McCafferty. Kyle McCafferty.
Please. Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't hear my name called.
It's okay.
Okay. All right. I'm Donna Janad, proud Neshaminy teacher at Pearlbuck Elementary School, Neshaminy parent, Neshaminy taxpayer living in Langhorne. I have been teaching in Neshaminy for 25 years. I love what I do. I love the kids of this district, and I know that its students receive a top-notch education delivered by caring, dedicated teachers. This is why I, as did many of you, moved into this district. No one wants a strike. Neshaminy teachers want to teach. We care about our students. We tried to negotiate 4 years prior to striking. 4 things are certain. We are not alone. We have a lot of community support. The NFT is willing to work to bring an end to this impasse, and the board doesn't seem to understand what can be accomplished through real negotiations. The NFT has proposed sitting down 24/7 to discuss with the board the unbelievably huge number of changes that the board proposes, all of which are open for negotiation, and also invites the idea of a third-party professional to look at what is left unresolved to facilitate an end. This board has said no, which speaks to the wanting of it all, knowing that a third party would be working for a fair resolve. Union bashing, distortion of facts, social media websites used for harsh comments have all had a part in prolonging this impasse at our children's expense. Our community has been led to believe that this is all about money and health care. What I need you to understand is it is not. There are an incredibly large number of non-economic changes this board has proposed, many of which we as educators know will negatively impact upon our students' education. The board continually mentions aligning with other districts, but not one of those districts has taken the kind of big hit that this board has proposed. We teachers of Neshaminy do not live in a shell. A percentage of us live, work, and pay right here as taxpayers in the Neshaminy community with you. Would all staff members here tonight that are also a Neshaminy resident please stand at this time? We are your neighbors.
Address your comments.
We are your...
You can finish, but address your comments to the board, please.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. We are your neighbors, your friends, your kids' teachers, counselors, nurses. We are your community, and above all, we are people. The nasty pig signs and the NFW innuendo shirts that some people have been sporting just don't speak well, but we know that it's not representative majority of the people in our district who would never think to do something like that. We know the times we live in, and we know that over time and through negotiations, reasonable contributions to health care and other changes will happen. Neshaminy's colors are blue and red. Can we please work together to settle the impasse for our students and for...
Your time is up.
My name is Kylie McCafferty. I'm a first grade teacher for Neshaminy, and I live in Southampton. I was born and raised in Levittown. I was educated by Neshaminy teachers, and I graduated with honors from Westchester University and never considered teaching for another district. After subbing for 2 years for $85 a day and 0 benefits, I was offered a position at Pearlbuck. It was the luckiest day of my life because I was paired up with the most phenomenal teacher ever. She is the polar opposite of what this community describes us as. She taught me everything college could not. How to do 10 things at once, how to be patient under pressure, and how to really listen to my students. But the most critical thing she taught me was how to inspire your children to be great. The hours she invested in me over those 2 years went unpaid and unnoticed by everyone except me. She brought out the best in me, and in turn, I brought out the best in my students. These teachers at the top of this pay scale are not wasteful spending. They're priceless gifts to me and every new teacher out there. Every year since, I have switched positions. I have been third, second, first, and kindergarten. And every year, another set of master teachers step up and make sure that I get the new curriculum, every different program, the new state of standards, all while I continue to waitress, volunteer at the Pennsylvania SPCA, and complete a master's program, which I did in December with a 4.0. I'm not telling you this for your pity. I'm telling you this for your respect. I deserve it, and I want it. Every teacher deserves your respect. This impasse has gone from a labor dispute to trashing the entire teaching profession. We are talented, educated, the desire is there, and the tools are there to do our job, and against some of your opinions, we do it well. There's been an endless amount of misinformation generated in the press and online. Not one teacher wants to teach like this. The misleading salaries posted on a certain website are not even close to my reality. I make $44,628. It's the same thing I've been paid for the last 4 years of teaching our children. I didn't choose the Rolls-Royce plan, nor do I need it. I would happily save the district thousands of dollars myself if I was given the opportunity to choose my own coverage and pay towards an HMO. The teachers have made concessions, and we will make more. It's our intention. But Mr. Webb, we've got to negotiate. We will. The board's all or nothing position needs to change now, please. There's pieces of this contract we can agree on, and we've got to start there, and we've got to start taking little tiny steps to the middle. It will get there. As I tell my students, you might not like everyone that you meet in life, but you don't have a reason to disrespect them.
Joan McGinley and Ann Schmidt.
Good evening. My name is Ann Schmidt. I'm an 8th grade teacher at Maple Point, 25 years in Neshaminy, on the NFT negotiating team and a resident of Southampton. I love democracy. Was this what we really want here? Tonight, I'd like to urge this board one more time to come through for this community. Bring the spirit of cooperation and compromise to negotiations. Since 2007, this board and the administration has just had one thing to say: no. Time and again, no. In 2007, we offered to begin negotiations early. The board response: no. Since 2008, we've offered to negotiate any time, any place, anywhere, on weekends, over holiday breaks. The board response was no. When we offered health care contributions and plan design changes, millions of dollars in concession, the board's response was no. When we offered additional millions of dollars in salary and retirement concessions, the board response was no. Board Vice President Kim Koutsaratis told the local paper that he would guarantee that if teachers got back to the classroom, he would have the negotiating team sit down with them the very same day. They'd be locked in a room doing what needs to be done. We thought he was serious. So serious that we proposed the opportunity to end the pain and unrest in this community. This was no trick on our part. Neither side is assured of all the issues going their way in that process, but we are willing to put our cards on the table and submit to the judgment of a neutral third party to further that resolution. This time, the board responded by twisting the terms of our offer and making empty legal threats. We had simply and sincerely asked whether you'd be willing to negotiate round the clock, then go to binding arbitration. In Mr. Webb's recent disappointing press release, he stated the board was not interested in meeting for the sake of meeting. Well, meeting is the necessary first step to getting somewhere, and getting serious is the second step. We're hopeful about where we're headed. We want to get back together, go through non-binding arbitration, and get a sustainable resolution that's good for students and fair to all. We urge the board to share this hope and to honor it. At some point, we have to sit together across the table from each other and work this out. We're ready. We hope that day will be soon. I firmly believe what Martin Luther King said, and I think he had it right when he said we must learn to live together as brothers, or we're going to perish together as fools. We should all heed his words. Work together to resolve our issues. Our community is counting on us. Thank you.
Armando Carascola, retired Pennsylvania State Trooper, private investigator, resident of Langhorne. I urge the board that if they don't accept your offer, continue to say no. Now, I want to put this disclaimer out, that my comments are exclusive to the NFT and the teachers that support their hostile takeover. A number of NFT teachers came up last meeting and responded to my comments of retaliation as if I singled out a particular person. They stood here in righteous indignation claiming you and your cohorts don't retaliate against students. It is their response that I take issue with. What do you consider work the contract 1 and 2.0 did? What does it mean to elementary students when you strip the walls of display and teaching aids? How were they impacted when you refuse to post items on the wall that stimulate their enthusiasm to learn? How did that make them and we, their parents, feel when you refused to sign awards and certificates? How was it for students and parents when you organized a boycott to parent-teacher conference and student events? What was the damage toll on students who did not get back on track because you refused to reach out to parents whose kids were falling behind? Oh, what a biased group you are when you issued referral letters to seniors whose parents were teachers but rejected those whose parents were not. You claimed your professionalism, yet you wear that NFT shirt in class like a biker gang flashes its colors, effectively intimidating your students. Some of you choose to hide your t-shirt under a sweater or a jacket, but it's all the same. Inappropriate attire, conduct unbecoming a teacher. Yet you hypocrites claim you don't retaliate against students. You are as a bitter spouse in a contentious divorce where the end justifies your means, that you care not for the kids you are hurting. It seems to me that despite your deplorable teaching record as a whole, you are no longer content with being the second highest paid teachers. You want to be the highest paid teachers in Pennsylvania.
Joan McGinley, Kate Livingston.
Hi, my name is Kate Livingstone. I teach and coach at Neshaminy High School. I currently live in Lower Makefield, but I'm a former Langhorne resident, and altogether my family has lived there for about 25 years. I'm here to ask for civility. I'm here because I believe that respect and discourse, compassion and grace go much further than banter and rage, disrespect and hurtful words. At the last meeting, I sat between colleagues and I sat between residents, and the lack of civility weighed upon me. I saw signs with effigies of pigs, teachers drawn as smiling, greedy pigs. I found this to be a degradation of what all of us are about. My classroom has one rule: be respectful. I do not tolerate when students speak disrespectfully or when they draw or write mocking attacks of others. If the purpose of this great pageantry of signs, jeers, and strange interactions between people here is to hurt us, then you've succeeded in making me feel bad about doing what I love. But you have not broken me. I love the kids I see every day. I'm blessed to be a teacher here. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with such exceptional students, faculty, staff, administrators, and just all around amazing people. I'm standing with my colleagues here because we are asking for a resolution. I will stand before you, the board, the ones who approved my name for a job here many years ago, and I ask you for a resolution. I stand in front of some of the people here who are content to draw pictures of me as an animal, and I ask all of us to choose instead to model humanity to our children. I am here I am here because I can do nothing more than ask for you to meet to resolve this issue. Students do not want to lose any more of what matters to them. They are tired of this battle, and we are tired. If you are tired too, please end this stalemate and talk. Talk to each other until we find a solution. Talk with the dignity of men and women who look each other in the eyes. Talk like our founding fathers who knew that the best way to resolve what seems impossible is to sit together for as long as it takes to make a resolution. These are hard times, but there has never been a time so hard that we cannot work together to find a resolution. Thank you.
Dave Adams and Matt Pileggi.
My name is Dave Adams. Been a resident here for over 55 years. Been a graduate of Neshaminy High School in 1974. Have a business in Lower Southampton for the past 25 years. And many of the taxpayers come into my business, and I, as a taxpayer, see them and talk to them and hear what they're saying. I was very disturbed that when the school teachers had a march from Maple Point to the park down there, I would have liked them to have a march through our neighborhoods. I would like to have them have a march to see the houses that are up for sale in our area. The senior citizens that don't have the money, that are on fixed incomes. The taxpayers in this town support this board 100%. We need to get this thing straightened out. We need to get it settled. That's true. But we have to make a settlement that works for everybody, the taxpayers, the students, and the teachers. Many teachers played a good role in my life growing up when I went to Neshaminy, and it was very positive. And I think that our teachers are very, very important to this community. But we need to get a reality check here. This is not 2002. This is what we've got right now is an economy that is really struggling. And we need to understand that we have to work together and bring the money together that the community can survive and also the teachers can survive. Thank you very much.
My name is Matt Pileggi. I live in Levittown, and I am a boring computer programmer. In 2008, the school board proposed a 3-year term with 1% increases to the salary schedule and healthcare contributions of 15 to 17%, while eliminating an early retirement package. Had that offer been accepted, it would have ended last school year. Salaries would have increased to $98,830. Not a single teacher would have missed a step in the salary schedule, and teachers would contribute less than $350 pre-tax per month for full family coverage, $150 a month for individual coverage. Instead, NFT negotiators created their own reality in a 6-year term that would have increased salaries to $121,000. Maintained 0% health care contributions, kept intact an unprecedented retirement package, including $30,000 cash payout, free benefits for self, spouse, and dependents until age 65. Even though they met for numerous negotiation sessions, that offer remained the only NFT proposal on the table for 2 years. It was during this time that the union president was quoted as saying, contributing to health care was taking a pay cut. This was the active proposal when work to contract was initiated. The NFT was demanding $121,000 salaries and free health care when the class of 2010 graduated without their teachers in attendance. It wasn't until September of 2010 that the second proposal was delivered. A 5-year term with 2 years in the past, creating over $11 million in retro raises, increasing salaries to $111,000, contributing 0% to health care, and maintaining the early retirement package. This was the offer in place when many of us were greeted by empty chairs on back-to-school night, and remained the active proposal when the duration of work to contract. In fact, it wasn't until June of 2011, 3 years later, when the board's initial proposal was set to expire, that the NFT proposal was delivered with a fixed 8% contribution. It included millions in retro raises, increased salaries to $108,000, and kept the full retirement package. I know that 44% of the teachers were already at max salary and had no increases due them in these past 3 years. But I wonder if the 245 other members willingly sacrificed $20,000 of their own raises so that those who came before them didn't have to contribute to health care. This impasse has uncovered many difficult realities, but this community continues to rise up in response to them. We have demonstrated our desire to stand firm for a reasonable contract, and I thank the board for standing firm with us. Finally, I would like to thank Mr. Webb for your ongoing commitment to this district. I wish everyone could speak as clearly, calmly, and openly about these issues as you have. You continue to do this community and its students a tremendous service. Thank you.
Charles Alfonso, Cara Di Lorenzo.
Hi, Charles Alfonso, semi-retired business executive from Langhorne. I must confess that I was really shocked in my 40-some years in business. I gotta say that this is the first meeting where the employees are taking the good seats and the employers are sitting on the bleachers. What's wrong with this picture here? Let's go back.